Well, speaking of science projects and like little pink things in tubes, the three of us saw the new Matrix movie.
I did.
2.5 of us. I'll finish it.
I did.
I'll finish it. I enjoyed the half I watched.
Well, you actually saw the good half.
Yeah, you did. If there was a good part,
if there was a good
part.
Right.
All the stuff that's promising in the first half is just gonna piss you off in the second half.
I don't know. I feel like I might love the whole thing because my expectations are nil.
I like that.
Well,
I saw that one tweet where they were like they had a picture of Neil Patrick Harris in those bright blue glasses, and somebody said, "Bright blue rims. I wonder what his deal is." That's kind of sums up like kind of how I feel about the movie. I think
it is very weird to watch a movie insult you for watching it. Yeah, and I felt like the movie did that.
Oh, it definitely did.
Outright just insulted me for watching it.
I could get into that.
Like, no, but there's not a promise to that. It's not. That's the thing. Not. It's not inverting it. It just becomes a stupid fucking Matrix movie that baits a sequel at the end. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not inverting it. They're not looking into it. They're not. And that's what I was kind of, because I was kind of positive. I was more positive about it because it's like, these people, they've been through a lot since this movie was last made. Sure. They maybe do have something to say. And it's interesting.
They're just way too online. It's like if Twitter made,
oh my God,
it's like if Twitter made a Matrix movie.
Yes. I fucking hated it. Oh my God. Okay, so I went back and watched them all because I was like, I don't remember much, but I remember that they were a mess and complicated. I'm interested in figuring out why it was a mess.
Well, except for the first one, which is not.
Which is a fucking masterpiece. I watched it again. God damn. Yeah. And
holds up.
Just a perfect movie. And then you're just immediately like, who asked for this? Like, why is this the movie you're doing this next?
Yeah. I never watched the third at all. Like, I'm fine.
I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense, I guess.
That's why I don't feel bad now.
There's good robots, I guess.
I learned that from watching the half of the fourth one that has it, because the good robots are okay.
Did you? Yeah, good robot Morpheus. God damn it. This stupid movie. And there really was. Do you know it was written with Hugo Weaving? And then the last minute, Hugo Weaving pulled out.
Right.
And they just shot it. They did not change they changed that one line in the script. And there's no fucking reason why this motherfucker is not just Agent Smith. There's no fucking reason.
Oh, the Morpheus was Hugo Weaving? Was that right?
No. The Christoph character Mindhunter plays.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Agent Smith. Like, I think his name is Agent Smith in the movie. Like, what a piece of shit. I don't know, man.
I mean, casting's a bitch, you know. Like, he did a good Agent Smith impersonation for me. He's fine. I don't care. I expected nothing from this movie.
Of the three actors forced to do an Agent,
he did just fine with it. I mean, that's what he was hired on to do. He did the work. And you know,
and Keanu was exhausted. Like you explain, you're like, Keanu's not on Twitter, but he acts as if he's being explained a conversation that was on Twitter, and then he just
I've played.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I've played over 20 hours of Cyberpunk 2077, so I feel like I can understand Keanu's not best work and appreciate it.
So you did a quote tweet, and the quote tweet, like, okay, no, I get it.
Yeah, and then the poor Carrie-Anne Moss. She's just an object that needed to be like saved and rescued.
All right, her husband's name is Chad. That made me laugh.
My God! Yeah.
See, we don't.
Go big and go dumb. I'm fine with it. Like, I think I might still enjoy the movie, guys. I don't know. Because
what is fun about? Describe it to me. What about it is bringing you joy?
I liked how head up its ass it was in the first, like. Yeah, they're like, oh well, they metatextually call out like, well, oh, our owner Warner Brothers was gonna make a sequel whether we were in on it or not, so I guess we'll do it.
Right.
But you don't find that insulting?
I feel like
inside
No,
baseball.
I don't. I find it funny and like, and you know what? And she's putting it out there. I don't want her to hide that shit. That's why she made this movie.
I want her to not do it.
People gotta.
I want her to make it. I want her to put something in front of me because she's got something to say.
Maybe she does. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she doesn't.
I saw it. Wade.
I saw it. Too.
I think we know what she has to say. What she has to say.
No, it's just a bait. They're gonna bait us. They were looking for a sequel they didn't get. It was just bullshit to set up a fucking second one. It's the same fucking movie. It's a rehash of the first Matrix, except for Trinity flies at the end, and a lady sings the fucking.
Oh, great! I haven't seen the rest of the movie. Jeez. Yeah, like I don't need it to. I don't need it to solve the world for me. I just I like that the robots are little droids and their
Jim Henson Muppets.
Yeah, I like Muppets. What's wrong with the Muppets?
I thought the designs were just painfully dumb.
So
if we're gonna talk about something that was dumb and fun, I want to talk to you guys about Tenet. Then.
Oh yeah.
Just 1 second though. Let me make this point about what the Matrix had. More than anything, it did a few things structurally that was interesting, but the main thing it was, and we can all laugh at it or roll our eyes at it now at distance, but it was cool. It was just cool. It was cool. And the culture at large decided in mass, that's cool. Yeah. And that is that's the lightning in the bottle. And
when you rewatch it,
that's what you have.
It's still cool.
Yeah.
Even though there's flip phones and their glasses or whatever, everything, it's still cool.
I like.
Nobody looked tired. Nobody looked it just looked cool.
I like fun more than I like cool. I think I don't care.
But this wasn't either.
It could be goofy as shit, and I was like, well, that's not cool. But can I have a good time?
Man, I've got a movie for you.
Yeah,
that's what
you're gonna tell me about Tenet.
I told you guys whenever I saw Tenet that I apologized sort of in advance. This was all I was going to talk about for a while. Man, so this movie is about, and I'm not ruining anything because the information information I'm going to give you is what you get in the first 15 minutes of the movie, which is one of the best things about this movie. Have you seen it, Wade?
No, but it's been readily available for me to see for enough time that if I haven't, it's on me. So spoil away.
Right. Well, I'm not really. There's no plot, there's no twist or anything. That's another wonderful thing about Tenet. Mm-hmm. No, what it is that there's a secret organization that is at war with the future. And the future has a way to reverse entropy things, objects, so they travel backwards in time.
If I could turn back time,
and it is so good for all the wrong reasons. It's so everything. Every time a character opens their mouth to explain something about the world, you're just gobsmacked at how bold and dumb it sounds. But everybody is such a great actor. All the acting is
but they're so earnest about it.
Everything looks so good. It looks amazing. It is very...
he knows how to make things look cool.
It looks... Yes.
Yeah.
And then Kenneth Branagh plays the Russian bad guy in it. who's been being fed like inside information from the future, and that's how he like rose to power or whatever. And he is so arch and so over, like he's simultaneously the most ridiculous thing in the movie and the most terrifying thing about this movie. It's just so much fun. It's so dumb. It's so mind-boggling, but it's got such like big balls on it. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I mean, it's like would you compare it to Inception? Because I've always felt that way about Inception too. So
I never saw Inception.
That it had.
I feel like
I know, which is weird, but I feel like I've seen Inception.
I feel like Inception had a bit of smart face to it.
I mean, it's got a lot of big ideas to it, like
right.
A big, I feel like visual big. I mean, it's a visual. It looks cool.
Yes,
it's a big visual movie.
It's a spiritual, like it's spiritually like in the same vein as Inception. But I feel like if something sounded smart in Inception. If there was a line in Tenet and it sounded like complicated or smart, then somebody must have raised an objection to Christopher Nolan, and he's like, "Fine, I'll just make the I'll just make the sentence 4 words so everybody like there's no confusion about what I'm."
So we're going back in time. We're going back in
right. So it's like it doesn't. There's no technobabble about anything. It's just pure uncut dumb. And it's so fun and big. So you watch it and I'm having a great time watching it because my jaw is open at how dumb it is. And then after the movie's over, I remember that this is the movie that everybody is supposed to like literally die to go see in the theater. And so there's
that was raw early COVID. That was golden age COVID right there.
Yeah,
man.
That's July. We're talking about
July
2020. And Christopher Nolan's
vaccines.
No vaccine for like what? 10 months, probably.
Yeah. It was insane. Yeah. I think he wanted them to just hold it, right?
I think he
didn't give a shit.
He had as long as they didn't put it on for streaming, he didn't care, I think.
He didn't care.
It had to be in the theaters or else he was going to lose his shit.
And that adds another added layer of just hilarity to it. Like this is the movie that
you're talking about how stupid it is. Here's the thing. I think that the Matrix 2 and 3 are so bad because they're not stupid enough. They're not. I mean, I guess what I'm saying, they're too complicated. And there was too many concepts, and it didn't play on like you find out you're not the only one. There've been a bunch of ones, and we've done it before. And you're really just a mathematical equation, and like the fucking the kindly black woman, the magical black woman's is just a fucking computer program like me, and you're just a fucking puppet, and all this and all this shit gets laid out, and you're supposed to be like in the 3rd act of a movie, and I'm like, I want to see some karate. Where's the karate? You're just
that's what I'm telling you. Tenet has
in complicated language, and.
Tenet has an army
fight. It should have just been like, I'm a robot and he's a robot, and you thought I was a good guy, and they didn't do that, and it would have been more fun because it would have created more time for karate.
You would have liked Tenet then, because at the end there's this big, you don't know why or exactly how there are like 2 standing armies, like fighting a beat like a storming a beach or whatever. And then like one army has a team moving backward in time, and one army and the same army has one side like team moving forward in time, but they can't know what each other's it's just so gloriously dumb. And that these army men are
I feel that way. That was what I felt that way with Inception, because you're like, we get a gun in the streets movie, and then we stop, and now we're in the middle of a heist movie, like an Ocean's 11, and like you do it, and then at the end you're in like they're all on ski, like those snowmobile skis, like they're on a GI Joe set in the snow fighting, like and all of the shit, and it's all in the third act, and he did enough work that it all kind of makes. I'm following it. I'm with you. I know what the things I'm looking at means.
No, somebody clearly had a copy of Nolan's script, and I think he wrote this by himself. I don't think he doesn't have any co-writers on this. It's written and directed.
He used to write with his brother, right?
But he did, but his brother did Westworld while he went off
with his wife. Yeah.
So somebody obviously read a rough draft or a second or third draft of Tenet and put it down and said, Christopher, I've highlighted all of the lines that I don't understand. And he clearly said, okay, I will make sure that everybody can understand. And so that's why every piece of dialogue is so clunky and like bold-faced dumb.
I'm going to fade the dialogue so low that nobody really bothers to hear it anyways. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. I watched it with subtitles on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's famous for that, right? Like,
he is. He's the main perpetrator of that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
So is it the end? Or are they just doing like a view to a kill ski scene on like snowmobiles or something?
That's Inception.
In Inception, they're doing that because they have to bury it within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within. And each dream has a different time scale.
An enigma wrapped in a conundrum and wrapped inside a.
Yeah, and so each one has its own laws of physics, which is why, it's kind of really fun.
I mean, that sounds fun. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, because it changes because they have to create a car. They have to put Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a car crash so that his dream within the dream, he can control the physics differently. Like it's all like these weird. It's really constructed, but it's a reverse heist movie.
Yeah, I mean that sounds fun,
and that's sort of the clever. That's the clever starting idea point, and then.
David Washington, I think, is so good and so watchable.
Oh yeah,
he really is a charismatic. Yeah, I think he's really great.
Yeah,
and it doesn't.
I don't think I've seen him in anything, and I need to change that because I know he's in good stuff. I haven't seen Black Klansman, and I haven't seen.
I've seen Black Klansman. I would recommend Tenet over that.
Oh really? I'd probably rather watch Tenet, not because I wouldn't think Black Klansman was good, but. Sounds heavy.
It sounds.
Tenet is a movie that you'll just laugh and laugh, or at least I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Black Klansman, but like, you don't have to watch it. Like, I don't feel like it's like, it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's on.
Yeah,
the mood takes me for whatever my interests. That's basically where I go now. Is I follow like these little pet interests. I guess.
Sure.
So tell me about Spider-Man, because there's a lot. Like this seems to be like big cultural event we've all been waiting for. It's that the culture needs to come back with a big event, and this was it, right?
Yeah.
Well, they got all the Spider-Mans together. That's. I mean, what more do you need?
And made all the money.
All the money, yeah.
I mean,
so
to me, Spider-Man was a weird movie because. There are a lot of legacy characters, and every time you have a legacy character talk, I'm not just to be introduced. They have to explain their deal to the new characters, and then explain what happened to them in their movies.
Yeah. So in my universe, Peter works for my company.
How much do they spend more time like? Wait, nobody cared about those Garfield movies, so let's spend most of our time with Toby, right? Because those are.
I think that isn't Garfield the one that gets the most like redemption or some shit.
They give him a moment. They give him a key moment, a key redemptive moment.
Well, he needs more to redemption because his movies were panned more, right?
Well, he's the hardest on himself. His Spider-Man is the hardest
because his movies did the worst.
Yeah, there's a meta.
It's Gwen Stacy died.
Oh right. Right.
No, and that's what he says. He's like, I'm the worst. Like, I just hate myself. I'm the worst.
Yeah.
And
the John Cusack Spider. Is it John Cusack or no? Who was that Spider-Man in Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, it was
life. It was Life Lessons Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was what's his name? Jake
Johnson.
Jake Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, they really did a good job. Like they really did tell a story. This is the thing. There's like a good hour and a half of story and a good hour of legacy characters talking to each other, and it's kind of sandwiched. Right off the bat, you got a half hour of story. You have an hour of legacy characters, and then you have like at the back end, an hour of like real storytelling that's going on, that's advancing the character of Tom Holland, Spider-Man, forward.
Yeah,
and I think that everybody was really on board with it, obviously, because it's made $1 billion.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't understand. I don't see how they can replicate this sort of success. And I think they're going to try.
Yeah, nobody ever does. Like, right? Like, everybody does. When does this... I mean, maybe every now and then a sequel will do better money. I guess so. That's a success. Yeah. But they're never... I don't know.
Well, I think
these movies are almost... They don't...
You have Harrison Ford,
if they're doubling
5 years
down.
ago, show up. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Harrison Ford showed up on the Millennium Falcon for the first time in like 40 years or whatever. And I think that's what really kicked all this off.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that moment just like in
that
perpetuity.
Felt so good, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but it's always cheaper, even if it. I mean, but that doesn't matter. To the
is it? This movie made $1 billion.
No, I mean, I meant like emotion, like.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page. I mean, I understand, like, yeah, financially, and that's anybody cares about that. It makes more, but like, they're just not as good artistically. Right?
I don't know, but I mean, you gotta say this is speaking to something in the people.
That's what I'm saying. Is that
I
think that in a world,
hard on people. Yeah.
In a world where you can't understand anything, the fact that you have 20 years of institutional knowledge about something,
yeah,
maybe
makes you feel pretty
good.
That's
what it is. Yeah, it makes you feel good to be painted to. I mean,
right? Or like if you have, I don't know. Like, I mean, all I have to hear is people in my close circle of friends, not y'all. Actually, my other friends of mine just bitch about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies for certain, like.
Oh, I think they're great.
So, like, I don't know, like, and because they are part of the MCU, they're all, like, MCU formula movies. So, I mean, fine. They're pretty good at it, I thought. Like, I like them, but, it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the movie's really good. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, like.
That's sort of the thing is they've got that part down. There's no, like, thrill of seeing a calamity, but you're also, there's no like, you don't have to worry about a movie just being like the fucking shitty, but like, or like that Mortal Kombat movie where you
but I had a better time watching the Eternals, and I had or Shang-Chi. Like, this is
because it's something new.
Yeah, because I wasn't like.
I'm sorry. There is. I think it's like candy, and I mean, maybe we're on the vanguard of a feeling. I think maybe, where, because we think about this probably more than someone who doesn't talk about the shit on podcasts or whatever. And so we're more acute to feel this fatigue of it. But like, for the temp workers, who don't, I don't know. I maybe this isn't, maybe the fact that this is just all sugar and no substance hasn't hit them yet.
I think everybody loves sugar, right? I mean, that's been since.
It was substance though. Like it really, that's the thing, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, it was like this desire of like, but what do you go from here? You just like, like that you're just cycling these. I don't know, this feeling that you're not. like what you felt when you saw The Matrix the first time. Like, holy shit, I'm seeing something new.
Right.
I guess they don't realize there's diminishing.
Once you can get like a real, like, to make a metaphor that probably, I'm sure will fall apart once I start describing it. Like, you might have a real meal of something true that you haven't had before. It's novel and it's good and it's nutritious. But then, like, if you're just eating that, dissolving it, and then just eating it again, the shit still might taste delicious, and it's just good sugar that's getting recycled, but it's not this. After a while, you're just eating the excrement and recycling it. It might still like be good.
Yeah, there's studios.
It's not the new thing anymore.
They want to reunite the 3 Spider-Men again. And I was like, well then.
And people like love that so much they don't want to give up the thing that they're the cud that they're chewing. I don't know. It's like I said, this metaphor is falling apart, but like they don't want to give it up, so they're going to keep eating it.
Well, no, I don't. Yeah, I think that there's something to that. I think that, like a metaphor, like I think that like you can't
metaphors fall apart eventually.
No, like you can't. Like I'm trying to construct my own little shitty one here.
Yeah.
Like it needs, like I think that the culture, maybe like what we're saying about, because you could just say that let people enjoy things. What if they just watch fucking Spider-Man reboots at the end of their day? The world's sluggish and what the fuck ever. The world's fucking cooking. The world's got bigger problems. Okay, sure. But one of the things that like I would say is that I do think that there is like a decay of a culture when new ideas aren't coming out. And so I think that there's, I wonder if like I hope, I guess, because of what I want, that what we're seeing right now is maybe like there's a stifling of a regime, like maybe the shift, COVID is a big like cultural turning point. It couldn't help but be. So we're in some sort of destabilization anyway, and maybe a culture needs to address that. But we can't do that right now. We don't know what it is, so we're just regurgitating what used to work. And the diminishing returns will be that that's just not who we are anymore.
Right.
We're not people that liked it, and that's when things like I don't know, the 60s cultural explosion seem to have happened from that's not who we are anymore. We change, so things change overnight.
Right. Part of that's driven by the culture, and then part of it's like there's enough people. It's like who's this? Not to get weird. I don't know. This metaphor is gonna fall apart too. Like who's steering the culture? Like there's gonna be enough people that will realize that this shit is just. Yeah, the market, that's the problem. The market's doing it. But like in the 60s, there's people they're trendsetters. There's people that will notice that movies are worse than they used to be, even if they're more fun than they used to be, like artistically, and like the ideas and everything are worse. I think we'll all agree that's definitively true as far as mass culture goes. Right?
I mean, I think that there's a lessening of writing,
and that's like what's guiding the culture is the proper, like, because there's things that will hit, like if it's good it will hit, and that people will pick up on it and appreciate it, and that can guide the culture forward too. But then also there's things that you can do that will hit as well, and like even though us on a podcast might realize that things are worse, as a whole, the society will just have fun.
Well, kind of like to what James was saying, with the recycling, diminishing returns on old ideas. We had a rejection of West Side Story, which was a remake. We had a rejection of Nightmare Alley, which was a remake.
I want to talk about that too. I want to put pins on those too. Yeah.
We've had a rejection.
But yes, they were rejected.
Of Matrix, which was a remake. So it's like,
is that a rejection yet? I'm not sure yet. I've seen mixed
Matrix,
things.
It made like nothing. It's got you horrible. Like the Matrix is not well received.
All right, okay.
They just announced they shut down any talks about a sequel.
Okay,
they announced that today.
Okay,
yeah, because and if you remember, yeah. So anyway, I think that Spider-Man's sort of the exception and not the rule.
Oh, for sure.
And okay, so. Yes, I do think that, and I wonder if this culture is just going to find itself anyway, and so, but it's going to find itself on an online medium, I guess, and I think that's probably what we're already seeing. But I
think that
it's the splintering of the cultures that we've talked about, but I do think that there will be a coalescing, and it does seem like it's going to be political, whatever the new cultural. We can't get over that.
Yeah,
I can't. The thing I keep going back to on The View. Have you been reading about The View this week?
No, I have not. I haven't read it.
This is really fucking interesting. Okay, so they finally chased Meghan McCain off the show, but because the show's made from a bunch of old liberals, they want to feel high-minded, and they want to fill her spot with a conservative woman. But because of their clientele and because of the other women in the cast and the producers and all that shit, they want to make sure that this Republican has two priorities. One speaks for the voice of the mainstream Republican Party. They want it to be, not like Lincoln, like a Bill Kristol type. Yeah, they want it to be a Republican, someone who voted for Trump.
It's not the Lincoln Project.
Yes, and they want it to be someone who does believe that Trump lost the election and there was no bullshit and the vaccines are effective.
How do you do that?
That's the problem. They literally can't find anyone.
Yeah.
That's because if someone fits criteria too, then they that fucking crazy lady whose dad was a Contra, who's on MSNBC, whatever, Anna Navarro, and she was the conservative, but she fucking worked on the Biden campaign. So that doesn't count. And then they had one that was a Fox News lady, one of the blondes that they keep churning out. Mm-hmm. And they had her on, but she refused to get vaccinated. So there you go. I think that tells you something. There is no conservative that is acceptable to be in a liberal place. And let me tell you, that's going to be vice versa. And So I think that as a definitive, whatever new culture, it either has to attack that or it is going to be that. It is just going to be, there's going to be a blue culture and a red culture, and they don't know how to speak to each other.
Just like we have a blue succession and we have a red succession.
Yes, it's yellow. Yes, Yellowstone.
And the people who are super online have a hard time believing that Yellowstone is so popular because they personally don't hear anybody talking about it, which is hilarious to me.
Yes. Right.
Because for 18
and it's
months,
I thought, show on television.
Right. And for 18 months, I thought everybody was just going to the park.
He was like, well,
they kept on wearing the hats and the shirts. And
stuff. I've been telling y'all, because all they do is talk it up. And,
it's a real interesting place. Let me talk about, I'm going to bring something to a delightful conspiracy theory. You mentioned Nightmare Alley and the West Side Story opening. Mm-hmm. Both of those were released by Fox.
Right, which is owned by Disney. Right.
Fox is owned by Disney.
Sure, they did it dirty.
They forced them to go up against the movie they knew was going to just annihilate them. And this is you can say Guillermo del Toro, but it was Steven fucking Spielberg. This was a call. You play by Disney, they're going, the theater. They feel, I think, Disney feels there's going to be a war.
Sony gets most of the No Way Home money.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think that this was that Disney wants to dominate theaters because they're going to shrink. They're going to shrink. There's going to be just a shrinking of the screens, and less people attending and less showings, and so they want to chase the Coen brothers, the Paul Thomas Andersons, these guys off the screens. And I think that that's where like you go to streaming now. I think that's what they're saying. That's the theory.
I guess so. I mean, I think West Side Story was going to be a hard sell to the theaters in COVID.
How?
In COVID?
It had a...
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think it's a no-brainer that it's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it didn't go in. Did they not put it on? They could have put it on. No, but I mean, I think... I think...
It's like, are you going to risk your life to go see a once-in-a-lifetime thing you've never seen before, which is 3 grown Spider-Men? Or are you going to see a remake? Or are you going to see some remake that you can watch, like that's probably not as good as the original that you can watch at home already?
Yeah. There's Steven Spielberg's dad really wanted to make him this movie, so Steven wanted it to be in theater, so he made it.
Well, I'm saying that I think that it's sending a message that the theater is for we're not fighting for turf anymore. And we're sick of hearing your bullshit.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like the battle's over.
Yes. You guys don't get to make theater movies anymore. And we're going to make sure that if you want funding, if you want awards, if you want eyeballs, if you want all of that shit, you have to do it on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, wherever they're trying to move them. And I think that it's that way because that's how companies who are big respond to a declining industry. That's when the muscle comes in. And so I think maybe that's what's going, like that's the theory about what's going on. Mm-hmm. And why you hear the bitchy little auteurs who are, like Quentin Tarantino's, and all of this stuff. And if you,
well, they're children of another era, and but they were the big kids, so like they're used to getting their way. So like, and they're being, it's like yeah.
I mean, we lost, man. No, I mean we've lost a Coen brother.
Yeah.
So we've got that going already. We've got Quentin Tarantino who's talking. I mean,
we lost a Wachowski, but what they're...
I mean, admit it, even that, I guess we lost a Wachowski, and then Joe Cohen, I assume, because that movie, I'm going to watch that movie on Apple Plus if I watch it.
Yeah, most people are.
So no one's going to the theater to see that. So so the last 2 movies they made.
Right. He had to know nobody was going to go see a fucking black and white Macbeth, though, right?
Well, I think he did, but he used to be able to get that in a theater.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to play in a theater. But no, you're right. Your point. I'm sorry, you're right.
But is Joel Cohen's next movie though? That's the thing.
Right.
You have to make.
Well, they've been making Netflix and streaming movies for a few movies now.
That's what I just said. Yeah. So that's the last 2 movies that were streaming movies that they made.
Yeah.
So if that's probably why Ethan quit.
Yeah, maybe.
And so, because they've probably been turning down all kinds of inquiries to do a TV series.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the
Buster Scruggs was supposed to be a TV series, and then they said,
right.
How about we just, we'll just make an anthology movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites still, too.
I've only watched it once.
I need to watch it. It was someone described it to me as a Whitman sampler of what the Coen brothers do, plus a love story, which they've never done before.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I guess that's a way to pitch it to me. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen it 3 times, and I'll probably watch it a 4th one here.
Yeah, I need to some of them I remember more than others because of so. And I fell asleep at some point. I don't know. I need to rewatch.
Mm-hmm. Because that what you just said is why Ethan Coen quit making films.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's honest.
We're all getting old, man, and I'm old.
I'm saying that, like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You can't not give us the option to watch your movies at home and then expect us not to do that.
Yeah.
That's just fucking stupid. We are human, and this is the way we're going to act. And so once they did it, it was going to happen.
That's why I like going to movies, because I know...
It's like those could... Yeah.
Right, because I'm not going to fall asleep in my chair watching.
Right.
Yes.
I love going to the movies. I just don't have that luxury anymore, you know? But that's called getting old. And these guys are getting old too, so fuck them. Let their movies die.
Oh, shit. I am, this weekend, I am going to see Licorice Pizza.
I really wish I could, yeah.
I would have seen it 4 or 5 times if it was shown in my theater.
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley didn't even come to my theater. Like, opening week. Like, it didn't come at all.
It's about sending a message.
Yeah.
You make Spider-Man's movies or you make Amazon Prime movies.
Yeah. Right. Man. And that, or Redbox geezer thriller.
Redbox.
Right. If you want the people to go to your movies, they're not going to go to see.
So how?
You want to see movies about it's a wrestling picture. You know, they're not going to go see your black and white Hamlets. And
could they, if COVID ever got out, you could start seeing, this is one of the cool things. If you want to be a little bit hopeful about decline, as if COVID goes away and climate catastrophe maybe takes a 15-minute break, as decline happens, you might see a resurgence of like local circuit theaters,
right?
Like probably Christians or Mormons,
right?
Or some
you're
shit
talking about your blue cultures.
Yeah, like regional film circuits where they make your own product. Like as these cultures, maybe you develop 2 different cultures.
Well, I mean, that's
probably 3 because the East and West will be separated.
Right.
But I mean, I think that you'll start seeing those like local, like, you know, like maybe WWE can't exist anymore because there's blue state like wrestling fans and red stuff, and that re-regionalizes, it breaks off. And
Tyler Perry figured this out 20 years ago.
Yeah, they remade the black circuit of
films. They did the Chitlin circuit, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is that's what happened with them, because they, you know, because that, if you study black culture in like the early part of the 20th century, it's not like all a nightmare. I mean, it was after as the economy collapsed, but they had like, you know, Miles Davis was raised relatively wealthy. Like they had their own economies. It was separate and it was worse and it was shitty. But it was there were middle class there. Right. There were people that owned companies and stuff, and like the Negro Leagues is a story like that was owned by like a black guy, you know, and he had a great little thing on his hands. And as the major leagues integrated, he lost his job. You know, he lost his thing. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily that, but like I think Tyler Perry and a lot of black culture, black church culture, definitely as the 70s, as the urban economy collapsed, they regionalized their own little economies, and that might start happening, you know. And so then you could have, that's what I mean by like there might be these little opportunities to where somebody starts making something that gets an audience. Yeah. A real audience, maybe in a real space with real people.
Right. I mean, I've been saying subcultures are the only way to get real culture to myself anyways, for a while now.
But the only way to do that beforehand was online. And that keeps that like human quality. I think that's I think that we need that. Okay. And so I that would be one cool thing that would set up. And I do think the red states are doing that, which is kind of scary too. Yeah, because it's probably built.
I mean, the Kurt Warner movies playing at my theater, but I can't get Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, listen, I was part of the New York comedy scene for long enough that we had, which was a very small subculture of nerds, and that went on to be part of the, their own little Tyler Perrys and everything. But like every comedian you see in Hollywood was part of that farm team at some point.
What do you mean?
Like all your Paul Shears and everything, like they were all little doing dinky shows up here that like,
oh yeah.
I was doing my little show with Joe Pera, came and did his show. We did a set at our show, and
Mm-hmm. But was there like a circuit, like where like you would go and like you could make like a movie, like a quick little cheap spin, like whatever, raise $100,000, make $100,000 comedy movie or whatever, and get it shown like in place, like you can play or do live, like in these like where it's a circuit.
Well, where you get
kind of make your own money, like you have like that's what the bluesmen had. They would go on these roads and they had these circuits they would play, and they knew at the end that they would take 2 months, and at the end of it they'd make a lot of money. They knew how many. Yeah.
Oh, nobody makes a lot of money. What is this? This is America. Nobody makes a lot of money.
But they need these. We need these regional circuits, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little circuit of people that watching this stuff, but nobody makes money until they step up to the
It'll always be, I think, somehow
the farm team.
a depressing cultural thing.
Well,
if this kind of decentralization doesn't break out into the
the problem is that right with the culture now is like, even if you're making enough to survive, that's not enough. You're nothing.
Yeah,
you're only something when you're taking the next step up. What it has to be is like you have to be able to be secure in your subculture to live and have a good life, but nobody has that. Because all these subcultures are built around striving to the next level, and I mean it's because capitalism.
What if it's not? What if it's?
I mean, it would be great.
That's what
that's
what
the
I
dream,
mean.
Right?
No. I mean, not like culturally. Now, yeah, that would be great. That's the dream. No, I mean like, what if we were talking about this before you got on the thing? And my point with the re-Lollapaloozing of Gen X or whatever, if that happens, and I keep my eye on it, is it's not that they're finding a new way. It's that like the concept of you can go be a punk and live a street lifestyle, or you can go straight and be boring and comfortable.
Right.
That was always the option, but there's not an option anymore.
Right.
So the comfortable part, so you can either be stressed and broke or not stressed and broke. And I think, or try and be not stressed doing something else. And so I think that there is a culture maybe of that, which is mostly going to be like online side hustle shit.
Yeah.
I make money screaming at my phone while I drive down the street, somehow. I'm not a lot, like us, we make like some fucking change doing this shit.
We keep the servers running, that's like
yeah, but I mean, if we talked about QAnon shit, we could probably make more change. And so
right.
Like, and not be important at all.
Right.
But still pay some bills to live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Art Bell shit. Like Art Bell living. Like
right.
That kind of shit. Just living out in the fucking deserts and shit. Making money from this contact. But like those are like, but that's like an economy separate from like, I don't know. Like I think
right. Well, then Alex Jones takes your job, and then what do you got? Like
that stuff's got to break out.
Yeah.
Like it's got to break out. This little like the side hustles have to somehow, I don't know, create communities. I don't know, or else we'll be depressed.
Right. Well, they need to be sustainable, and then you have to build a culture to where that's enough. That's a problem. Yeah. Everybody. Because...
Have you noticed that there's a concerted effort to stop talking about all the mass shootings going on? We have like tons of mass shootings, and like they just don't make a big deal out of it anymore.
I mean,
well, like
part of that is you don't want to. Yeah, it's tough because we talked about them for so long.
But it's another way to just. It's another way that we're just accepting it. Like we're gonna stop. Yeah. Like in 6 months, we're gonna stop talking about COVID.
Right.
And it's not gonna be because COVID went away. We're just gonna stop talking about it. because whatever the amount of death and spread is just going to be acceptable.
Well, at some point we'll hit an endemic to where it's just because there's no getting rid of it. That's the thing with COVID, and then you want it to.
Yeah.
And at some point it will be.
I gotta tap out.
You gotta head out.
Yeah. Okay. I think I hear footsteps.
We're depressing enough as it is.
Yeah. Right.
Footsteps above me anyway. So I'm afraid I got a little guy up. So.
Oh, okay.
So I will. Yes, I will talk to you guys later.
Cool. We're gonna get back next week. I think we're gonna get back next week. If you want to watch it, you can.
Oh, okay.
Or you can be on it.
I mean, I should watch it. I just don't know if I'll have time.
Yeah, it's my favorite novel.
Oh yeah,
it's my favorite thing of this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nobody's saying it's bad.
Yeah, it's the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, So all right. Well, I gotta see my family too.
Yeah, no worries. I gotta sleep.